Hey everyone, Obscure Titan here with a second animation update, and probably the last one that I'm going to be doing up until I get to Dark Redemption. I'm going to be showcasing some of the scenes that I did for Vietnam War Hero. Now, go ahead and set this to material, well, not material preview, but this is the, let me see, what's that called? It's, rendered. It's rendered. Okay. So, what I have been doing is getting all the scenes put together and then start getting to some animation process and all that. And let me go back a little bit further than that. So this is where, go ahead and get the pike over here. So this is where Starscream is being pinned down to this rock. We don't get to see anything that's going on behind him, but let's just imagine if he was being just poked through. Okay, it actually does go through, but anyway. So this is where Starscream is being pinned down by this pike over here, and he is pretty much just kind of on his own. There isn't really much that's being explained as to how that happened or why, but the two half genie heroes would come across Starscream and they would try to free him, essentially. And thanks to Streak's agreement, they would end up freeing him. So both him and Priestess Vera end up freeing the guy. And so they would all work together to take down Six Shot, who is supposed to be the four-armed Decepticon. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to material preview. So Starscream in this film is going to look mostly pretty faded apart from his upper torso, which has a brown color to him right here. But everything else looks very faded because he's been away from the Decepticons for so long, to the point where he was practically unrecognizable to anyone. Well, with the exception of Six Shot. Well, except for Six Shot and Shockwave. But then there is another scene with Julius already set with Six Shot instead of over here. So here is right here where he's getting inspired from Transformers Energon, having some elements of Transformers G1 as well as maybe some to that, and even some other non-Transformer references such as Eraser from Sonic and the Secret Rings. His final form, I can't even remember. I think it was Alpha something, but that's what he's mostly inspired. Have this Oriental Genie design, Six Shot. No alt mode for him, at least not yet, anyways. But he is alongside with Julius. And down here, there are some Transformers nations that he's created. Hunt down Starscream. So, and go a little bit further into the storyline. Vietnam is supposed to have a very moggy, this big smog green background on, where most of the characters, I think at least for any that have color, have colors that would be able to pop out from this smog, and some of the characters don't. But at least with the case of, she has this turquoise blue that would be able to pop out against the dark gray. Not so much for Streak. Can see his skin. Turn this off right here. So we can see that can be seen from the background. Starscream at the very sorry, I kind of earlier, but here's Starscream. Most of him is mostly faded and has a lot of this black going on around him, and this brown torso that I've already seen. Now, if I and let's see, I have already set up. So that's pretty much what I did for many of the scenes. I had to do different variations of the Vietnam sets that I have here because we're not going to see a lot that's going on from Vietnam in this film. In fact, I'm going to go ahead. I just don't save right here. I'm going to pop open some of the scenes I'm familiar with, such as the Genie Throne. I don't know if maybe I have from Akuma. You've already seen a bit of Shore from -3. Probably a little bit of. Hold on a minute. I will go ahead and open up his layer. That's where he and Six Shot are luring in Star and his half genie friends fight against. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this out right here. I'll go ahead and set this over here. So I had to bring in two different models for Starscream to be able to make this transition work. So from one end, he is in mode, and then in another he has his jet mode. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Six Shot here because he would appear later to Starscream into a hallucination and just kind of have him think of some real thoughts going on. So there he is alongside Shot. I'll go ahead and turn this. So what's going on between Starscream and Six Shot? This genie Decepticon is manipulating Starscream and then getting him to just kind of lose it. Okay. I also see a contrast between Starscream and Six Shot. Starscream is just completely faded. He's lost a lot of his colors, his time with the Decepticons, and Six has all this glory going on around him. Looks very glossy and very green. Just because of the contrast between these two. Also to note that I did, with Six Shot is that I designed him based off of Oriental Genie. The ear move whenever he's moving himself around. Have these giant cuffs around his wrists that are supposed to represent the shackle genie. Versus big thighs that are supposed to represent. We could even argue his feet are supposed to represent, the curly shoes that, if you've seen Aladdin, you would see of the Oriental or Middle Eastern character these shoes. So that's what I translated. Shot, making him look like a genie villain, as the name Genie Hunter. And there's a single eye, so it really makes Six Shot unique to Shockwave. Is that if you pay close attention to the eye, that it does move around whenever he moves his head around. Okay, so right there, so you see that his eye does move, and if I go a little bit further, I think I would need another scene that has him. So let me put this right here. So there's a scene where he meets with Shockwave. He does Shockwave, and so if you see in some sequences where his eye will be moved to right, to left, to the top, so that gives Six Shot a bit more expressive look to him. Not really so much having expression, but allowing those expressions to come about from the way that his eye is. So it's not always static. So that allows Shot to have a little bit more character going on whenever we see him on screen, as disappearing. Gives him a bit more character going on, and have him this glowing, this ponytail that goes behind him. Of course, there's nothing holding it to it, but at the point he will be getting some alt modes, hence his name Six Shot. So probably some wolf mode or that would allow him to change mode. So, but he doesn't have anything to show here, not in this film anyway. He will at some point in the future once I get redemption at some form. But there he is. You're not going to be able to see it all through the glass, but that's only in one that's been rendered. So that's pretty much for Dark Redemption. So not Redemption, but Vietnam War Hero. I will get Redemption at some point. Speaking of, I will start making a short teaser that's going to let everybody know Dark Redemption is going to be happening at some point this, and it will be coming out in October, or I should say. And I'm also getting in a couple more demo reels for Zujitos as long. So that's all I got for Vietnam War Hero. So please tell me about this. I apologize if I'm recording a different area instead of using my computer. I'm realizing that because this stuff that I got from Full Sail University is faster, than my main computer, about 32 gigs of RAM, so it's really to use for rendering my animation scenes, and it's also much easier to handle with than my 16 gig desktop. So yeah, stuff that Full Sail provides. Am I right? Um, well, no, really do bring some great stuff. I legitimately mean that, but that's pretty much all to showcase with y'all. So to comment down below, and what are you really looking for in this film? And then I'll catch you guys when the film later.